Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment he made?
I got from varsity.
Run Ryan.
And everything. You have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
What grade?
That one at the go.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are
Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United. Nico, we on the scene.
Yeah, good night,
Right.
man. You hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Nice,
Loud
man,
and clear.
nice.
Right, so we on the scene, we was having such a good run, and for it to come back and we kind of here, it's not ideal, Today it wasn't brilliant, but it's no worse. The point is one gained, not what we wanted. But when you look at the game and you watch, going into the game, and I think I'd tell you that before, or I'd tell the guys, we knew exactly how West Ham was going to set up today. We knew how this game was going to play out. West Ham fighting for their life right now, so every point matters for them. And how we would have been successful against some of the better teams in the league is being very defensively astute. Being well organized and looking for opportunities on the counter or on the transition is how a lot of teams try to set up. We would have done it in the past and it would have worked for us at times. So we knew with the form we were on and the way how we were playing, I just knew that West Ham was coming to defend, and it was unfortunate that we couldn't break them down. 13 points from 15 is still a really good, run for Michael Carrick as the interim. And I guess we had to confront the realities that you can't win every game in football. Points, you'll always drop points. 4 wins and a solid draw is very, very good by any standard, considering the circumstances. So, as much, Nico, as we would have wanted to win the game today and continue the run and possibly move into third, I think the result, when we take everything into context, it's not as bad, when it's around you like Sima, Now I know Nico connection giving him a little challenge at the moment. So as soon as he organizes, he'll be back in. So this is just where we at the moment, guys. Where and where I'm at right now, I was able to sim a little bit, so I feel a little bit better. Again, ideally, I would have wanted to win the game, but a point away at West Ham in the way how the game went is not necessarily a bad result. How are we feeling, Nico? What is it seeing?
Yeah, good night. For some reason I find my internet acting up. So I'm getting into the I guess the intro part of the review today and the game. I know it would not have been a easy game, right? I was hoping it would have been. I think I was just thinking about the amount of rest days and playing the same team, but I know everything in hindsight, right? If you're 2 days rest, not really rotating, then we see Maguire limp off. I started to think about the load now, but then is how much of this we have? We don't have much now, so I guess the asked was to, let we make it through this one, and with the form we was in and the confidence, I guess, with that team, I think Carrick thought that, we'd have gotten it done. But the game was really, really, really flat. Yes, I know the defensively both teams set up well, but you wasn't getting that, that I don't know if to say that X factor, that energy. You wasn't seeing. We lacked a bit of dynamism to break down West Ham today, and the team was really flat until we went a goal down. And after that, I think anything after that would have been a plus. That slow start, getting, scoring on the run of play, West Ham, a ball over the top, which should never beat us so easily, right? That is some of the old habits, yeah. But again, coming back and winning it in the end, I think was a good point today, and I always felt that we would not have lost today, when they won and when they scored, I still didn't think we'd have lost, because one chance I know we'd have gotten it, and it was a really quality finish from Sesko today.
Yeah. Simeon, we as fans, you never want to drop points. You never want to lose games, And we would have always wanted the winning run to continue. But I guess we got to settle for the unbeaten run. 4 wins and 1 draw. When you think about it, it's not that bad. We're still sitting comfortably in 4th place. We're not going to get, when this run of games, play out, we're still not going to move from 4th place. So we kind of secure. The win would have gotten us into 3rd, right? But I guess, it's not as bad as we would have felt at full time. Go through.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late today. I didn't see the game live, so I was trying to catch up on the run of play, some highlights, and so just get an idea, because you hear a Foley score, but I wanted to see from my own eyes what was going on, and sometimes watching a game live, you could have different feelings as opposed to watch it afterwards. I don't know. I was ready to be, let down, as far as, after that first goal score, my mind kind of switched back to, okay, this team, playing against a low block, what going on with the team, all of a sudden it stopped playing. But watching the game, it wasn't what you want to see, but at the same time, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't a terrible performance by a team. I feel like, yes, they lacked that that finishing ability in the last final to finish plays, for the, and the energy in the first half. But that's that's always been, it's a long that's been a problem for us for a while against these type of teams. Once a team starts playing, that low block. So I wasn't too surprised, and then Carrick, we say it's magic, but it's Carrick. But what do man do? So we come back to it, but it's West Ham. For some reason we haven't really won there in a while. I feel like the team didn't play. There's still issues in the team, and you have to expect a letdown here and there. I really didn't think it didn't look as bad as I heard it was. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't lose. I think that's the first thing. Make sure for us play, hard to the end. Nice to see, like Nico said, Sesko, nice finish. Kind of, that's a striker's finish. If you know where the goal is, and you know how to get the ball there. So it was good to see that from Sesko. I feel like this is one of those games where he could have really featured more, but you go with a team that's playing well. Um, I want to be negative with this team, but I don't have much. This is the team we have. Where we play is not really, suited for, breakdown low block. But watching the game, I see so many plays. I mean, it's just I didn't see the whole play, but from the highlights, you could see, even though we didn't score as many goals, you could see the talent and the thinking with his team. You could see the attempts and stuff with his team. So I'm not, too down. I feel bad for already here, but we gotta take this and move on.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad you're going there because I wanted to get our thoughts and even the comments as well. We've always had a problem from ever since. We've always struggled to break down low blocks. Once a team come real um, defensively solid, well drilled, we've always found it difficult. And those were some of the games that we'd have lost under Oli, even Ten Hag. Well, I even want to talk about the Portuguese, right? So I want to know, right, how your thoughts we fared against our low block today. So Nico, I'll come to you on this one. How you thought the team fared, how we played, how we performed against, a very good defensively strong team, right? Let me just get the comments and then I'll come back to you, right? So Kristen on the inside, good night. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying Euro, man of the match for them 2 insane blocks. Yeah, boy, Euro, listen, is Euro. And Sesko who saved with this game here. Yeah. United's trying hard to try a Kane robot. Top man on the inside, thanks for joining. He's saying haircut predictions was close. Good night, fellas. Yeah, I mean, cornrows fit, right? Right, because I'm saying here 4 in a row. The man deserves a little mark self. Yeah, well, listen, I'll tell you something. This fella getting rich and popular. I was wondering if after that haircut, what happened to him. So he'll be fine, right? Rudy on the inside, long time, bro. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying not bad, not that bad at all. Yeah. But by now, the feeling different from at full time, man. Rudy saying here, who would have thought we would be sitting above Liverpool, especially given the way this season started? Yeah. Also saying here, by the way, good to see. Yeah, man. Yeah, been a minute for real. But glad to hear that everything good on your end, man. He's saying here, West Ham turned into prime Atletico Madrid. Bye. Crody Meister, thanks for joining. Sick to death of Frank's hair. It's a bloody jinx. Ay. Yeah. So Nico, I'll start with you, right? The low block. How did you think we managed against West Ham's low block? The formation and the system that we've always struggled to play against, in the past.
To be honest, a game like today, I was looking at Cunha especially, because I think Cunha is one of the players who I was looking for to rise at the occasion of these tight spaces kind of games. Right? We know Bruno forever. It have Mbeumo, we know Ahmad. So I was thinking that Cunha would have been the final piece to help break down, a low block. After today's game, I didn't get the feeling that I don't know if I'm coming in clear or breaking up. I see my side.
Yeah. We hearing you. We hearing you.
All right. Yeah. And for the time he was on the pitch, I don't think he got himself into the game to really affect breaking down the low block today. As really, some of the games we played at home, we had the input us ready behind us, and we were away game where you know a Western organized. I'm looking at Acuna to bring that magic to help break down that low block team. And I didn't see that today. I really didn't see that today. I think that was the most disappointing thing for me today. I don't think Cunha even got a shot on goal. And I don't think we still have, as much as we were knocking on the door, but we were knocking very tame. We were knocking tame. Everything was in front of West Ham. The left back on Ahmad, did a good job, as well. Ahmad even didn't, he wasn't even able to free Ahmad at any time on a one-on-one. And when we did, I think the left back did well against him. So I still think we struggled to break down the low block today. I don't know if we have the personnel. I don't know if it's a personal issue. I don't know if it's a tactic issue. I don't know if, as somebody that said in the comments, that is, somebody team that's going to a prime Atletico Madrid type of, team. But to me, we really, really struggle to break down that team today. I think that was a game how much of a month, and he was barely today. So to be honest, I don't think we managed the low block well. I think in terms of managing the counter on us, for the amount of possession we had, I think we did that well. Other than for the goal, I think that was the only time they would have really threatened us on the counter. But otherwise, before we would have been, I would have been scared. Because I know it's 1-2 passes and onto a shot on goal. But I think in terms of managing the game defensively, I think I saw a big improvement. I think we managed that well.
Yeah. Guys, don't forget to like and share the podcast. We know how the algorithm does work. So you like it, we'll gain a further reach. You share it even further. All right. Before Simeon come in, I just want to share my thoughts on how I think Carrick would have approached the low block. Right? I think what we would have seen over the past couple games is where he put in a lot of emphasis on we passing game, the ball movement game, in terms of how to hold the ball, progress the football without the transitions, recycling the football. And I thought today it was a patience game. I always thought that going into this game, one goal would have sufficed. But we needed not to concede. Because when you consider the weapons that we had on the bench, the Sesko, right, he will change the dynamic as to how we play. So I believe that we had a goal in us, and this game was going to be a one-goal game. But the mistake we made was conceding, right? And as you pointed out, Nico, we were managing the game pretty well in terms of just being patient, knocking. Yes, we were not getting the kind of penetration as we wanted. And it will always be difficult to run in behind when a team playing so deep, right? So you really need players in front of the ball. You need the 1-2s, the little intricate 1-2s at the top of the box to get into the box. And we were seeing it happening. We were getting bits and pieces of that happening. It just wasn't coming off. And I'm being honest with you. All we needed to make sure and not do was concede, and we would have won this game today. Right? I don't have no doubts in my mind, but it was a patience game. It wasn't, this today wasn't going to be one of those, we just beat West Ham, we beat them until the pants come off. It was never going to be one of those kind of games. When you watch every one of West Ham games before today, right? Them get Chelsea come in the dregs and win that game, right? It's our next game they play, and then they beat Burnley last week, and then they're playing home. So I always knew it was going to be a very, very difficult game. So in terms of, again, let me just get back to repeat what I was saying, the movement and the passing, the patience that we were exhibiting, and then when we reached up at the edge of the 16-yard, we was trying the little flicks and tricks to get in behind. I think this game was supposed to just be a 1-0 win. I remember that chance Shaw gets on the set piece, that Bissaka clear off the line. You see this one, Bissaka fella, is real sick me in a boy. Every time that man playing, that man they just come and play out of his socks in a boy. You know what I'm saying? But the point again is, I really think once we manage not to concede today, we would have get a breakthrough and we'd have win this game.
To me, it's hard. That's real hard to say because we know how the Premier League is, and the moment you score against a team, they're going to sort of come at you. West Ham game going to change. The game going to change, and we know how fickle we could be, especially away from home, especially this season. So I know, yes, you could say that, but to me, it's real difficult to say that, especially in this league, boy. You know, but
No.
I catch your point.
No. Again, the way how we have been, and the reason why I say that, because West Ham could have come if we score early. West Ham could have opened up and we could have get more chances. But the point I'm making is how we were controlling the game, right? We were managing the game. It was a patient game. I don't know if you understand, if you all see how we were playing. We were not trying to force anything. We were taking our time. We were looking for our moment. We were prodding, and when we get the opportunity, we try something inside. But as I said before, we had, if let me say at the 60th minute, without conceding, we wasn't getting nothing, we'd have bring on Sesko. Then that would be a different threat. You understand? And we'd have thrown more at them to get the win. But when you now concede, now it changing the dynamic of the game. So now we have to get 2 goals with a team at low block who defend and lead. It will always be hard. It will always be smash and grab. But we were controlling the game. We were dictating the tempo, and all it was for us to just get our 1 goal, and I think we'd have get it if we didn't concede and win the game. Simeon, go through.
I mean, like I said, I watched the 15-minute highlights. So I mean, I was really wanting to ask you guys, glad Kareem said it, because it looked to me like, it wasn't like we were playing terrible, wouldn't have ideas, but it seemed like it just wasn't coming true. Like he wasn't really getting that final, killer pass or killer finish in the box. Because the team looked, the type of attacks I saw they were doing, with 1-2s, the crosses. I think Ahmad Manu had a nice cross that Casemiro, was awesome. But you saw different ways of attacking his team, and they looked good. I was hearing things after the game about, team that looked kind of down and stuff. I'm like, well, I was ready to come on and bad talk the team, bad talk Carrick, but, for what I saw, it was just one of those days where, a team like West Ham playing at home, had the motivation, the energy. You have, my old player, Wan-Bissaka back there, as Kareem say, what he gummed through, and he ready for this game. And West Ham going to defend tough. That's West Ham. And these kind of games is where you have, and I think what Nico was saying, look at Acuna. These games normally have that one player, whether it be a Ronaldo or Rooney, or it's a player class above that can make big difference. I think we have really good players, but we don't have that. Bruno is good, but not that kind of effect, if you know what I mean, on a goal scoring effect on a game like that. I just felt like this team just couldn't pull it off. I think it's one player too short, and even the goal that they scored, I looked at the goal, I was like, the timing of the run was good, but still, I feel like it's just one of those things that one of those balls that came in and nobody know what to do with, and it happened back in net, for West Ham. So I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad performance, but it just shows us that we still have a lot of work to do. As far as not letting that one mistake cost us, a goal. And I look at Sesko. I mean, Sesko has to be part of that solution as far as scoring goals on a low block. He has to be part of that because how tall is he? What, 6'5", 6'6", 7"? I forget what it is. He has to be, when teams play like this, he has to be that guy who can get you a goal here and there. And today he pulled it off, but in the future he has to be that player against low blocks. Ahmad, I'm a big fan of Ahmad, but I always say Ahmad could decide a game, with his performance and his decision, his decision to pass or try and go for goal. I feel like Ahmad, it's one of those people that I feel like get anyway. I know you get kind of blocked down today, but I always feel like Ahmad could do more. I don't know if just watching him play, watching him in most games get to where he wants to get to, I feel like, once he gets his game right and his decision making right, I think he can really help us. I saw who was it on that side that was marking him? God, that was a really good match on that side.
The youth.
Yeah. Looked like a really good matchup. But I always look at Ahmad and I always expect a lot from Ahmad. Menu look. I keep saying Menu. He's switching gears right now. I feel like Menu kind of going through the gears right now. First gear, second gear. I feel like Menu. I think he's gonna be more. How can I say? Offensively, brave coming up in the next few games. I think his confidence looks like it's there. His ability is there. I expect more from Menu in the future, but people, not happy with this result. But to me, it was just one of those games.
Yeah, and in saying, it's just one of those games. I think that kind of really depicts how this game went, because when you consider, it is just have them games on here when you just don't get the rubber the green. Luck just don't be on your side. I know you didn't see the game in its entirety, Simeon, right? So probably Nico could bear out on this. You kick the ball bounced off the defender, hit you and gone out. You head at Zirkzee got a chance, it just shaved the post. Casemiro was just an inch offside, right? These kind of things, it just, that is the ones that just do go for you now, boy, and I think that's together with how deep West Ham was, the pass not hitting the man, the defender getting he just getting a toe, an inch touch on the ball, putting you off your run. So much things happen today that it's just, as they say, the football gods didn't smile on you, and sometimes there's ways how to bring it down too, because I'm telling you, we had enough chances to win this game today, and it just didn't fall for me. Let me just get some comments before we move on, right? Richard on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He's saying, won't like Carrick has the, I guess, nice balls, right? We've been needing that change of Dalot to Zirkzee was very, very impressive. All right. I think Zirkzee and Sesko came in and gave us a presence in the box. All right. Christian saying here, watching that, this was one of the most watched games of the season, and it's because of that fella and his hair. In most of my football group chats, everybody was tuned in and talking. That was telling me he could be fine. He came through, right? He winning off United. Eric Lewis on the inside. Good night. Thanks for joining me. Saying, and Wan-Bissaka turned into Maldini. Boy. Richard saying here, well said, Simeon. All right. So, Nico, you had mentioned something earlier. And I just want to tie it back to the starting 11. All right. Do you think, now, again, hindsight, how the saying goes, right? But do you think Carrick should have, switched things up going into this game?
I don't think he had any reason to do it, to change it up. I think from the runner games, it only made sense to keep that lineup. And because we know we're not into any more cup games, right? Most likely, I think sometime in the season we're gonna get some type of long rest, right? Where I was talking about going and play a friendly. When that is.
I think that is now because we ain't playing that game for 2 weeks now.
Right. So it made sense to play the same team. Right? The team has been in a winning run. I think even the players, I don't think it had any player on the bench who was pushing for a start or having that conversation for maybe outside of Sesko. But he and I would have understood that the team on a winning run, if the coach decides not to upset a winning formula, right? As a team player, no problem with that. However, when I come on, I'm going to make an impact. So if it is he had to change it up, definitely my name would be in the hat. And I think that happened today. And I think Simeon would have spoken about it in terms of Sesko being part of the weapons follow block team. And you saw it today where it can work. Instead of we just trying one thing, we just trying to break them down, maybe playing that 1-2, which they were very adept to. We could have Sesko playing the 1-2, but you still have the option of swinging across. And you have a potent player, in the area. If you give him a chance with the 4 in, he could finish. So now you have defenders thinking twice and 3 times, where the where the threat is. So I think it made sense to play with the same team, and I understand it and I agree with that 100%. But now I think Carrick have a little more thinking to do, in terms of the teams we're playing against and the weapons we need to break them down.
Yeah. I do disagree with you. All right. Only I guess you sum it up well. And the reason why I say that is because when you consider how he approached the game, in terms of as I was saying before, the patience, moving around the ball, and then trying to get those intricate passing to get through, to get shots at goal, probably that's is how he saw it. But what would have really worked against a team that deep was somebody with the profile of Sesko who could still, do the little 1-2s, but also give you a kind of aerial threat now, But what is also something that could be considered is the versatility and the movement of the Cunha, Bruno, and Mbeumo. That it don't have a focal point for a defender to say, well, he could mark out of the game now. If you understand what I'm saying. So how them fellas are inflexible and always moving when we are attacking, it could be hard to pick up a player. I just think probably them boys and them didn't have the best day at the they didn't have the best day on the field today, and I probably guess that is why we didn't see a lot more from them. Simeon, thoughts on that? But I want to even push it further. Do you think Carrick should have perhaps made the changes a little bit earlier? Because I don't think Sesko had much time. Xerxes didn't have much time.
I think he really came in about 72nd or somewhere around there.
Yeah, and I think
he had about 22 minutes. I think he had about 22 minutes on the pitch before 90 minutes when he came on.
And I think Xerxes had about 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And then when you consider how, Cunha wasn't as effective as we would have wanted, he really extended the time on the pitch for them fellas. It took quite some time to make the changes. We thought about that delay from the manager.
Yeah, in retrospect, it doesn't look good. I really thought maybe Sesko could come in earlier, but like I said, in retrospect, we could say, Sesko, and I'll agree that Sesko profile was the best to start this game, but when you're a team that's playing as well as they are, you don't want to mess up your thing. You don't want to say you want to see you want to give them for a chance. You want to show them first that not reward them first, but let me see what you guys could do against this low block. Yeah, not the best thing, but you guys been playing so well. The familiarity you guys have, show me what you guys can do. I think they've earned that right to start today. It just didn't come off. It just didn't click. Up there. And as a coach, I think he gained, respect from the, not just the players that, got start, but from the players in the bench to see, okay, well, if we play well on game day, the coach is going to let us, keep our starting spot. The time he brings Sesko in, though, like it's hard to say, but I would have given him more time. I think I would, if Cunha wasn't playing that well. I didn't see much of Cunha, honestly. I didn't see much of Cunha in the highlights. He didn't show up. I guess that's why. But if Son wasn't being effective, he should have brought Sesko in earlier. But I have no problem with him starting the same team as he did before. If there's no sign of fatigue or anything from the fellas, start the same team, you need to see, you have to test West Ham, sure they have a game plan for that starting 11, but let's see how effective it is. Let's see if the fellas do homework. Don't just, change up because, they might be ready or whatever. So no problem with them starting, but he could have played Sesko earlier. Saying this like, I'm the biggest Sesko, cheerleader. I'm not. It's just, the man, like we said, the man profile, what the man was brought in to do is for those occasions, when you have a low block and it's hard to get that, that finish, that's what the man's job is. So yeah, and I think as, the man scoring goals now, the confidence can be, even though he ain't starting, the confidence can be high. So we expect more from Sesko, moving on.
Yeah. We're just gonna comment some comments real quick. Richard saying here, this game shows that we need another maestro in midfield pulling the strings, not only Bruno, someone like Mata, but Neno was a beast today. And as well, what a pass to Cass. Yeah, for the offside goal, that was proper boy. He also said here, Neno is the Pogba without the flair and drama, right? Jody on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He's saying, I told you that he should switch on the team. Do that. We don't become predictable. All right. Andrew on the inside, thanks for joining. United for life. All right. Eric Lewis saying here, I would like to see Shea Lacey get some more minutes. Today may have been ideal for him. I think Shea Lacey injured. All right. So that's why we're not seeing more of him. So I don't know how long he could be out for. I think Nico, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he have a little kind of injury, kind of proneness. I find he just get injured real regular, boy. So I don't know, but I know he not with the team because he injured.
Yeah.
All right. So going forward earlier, because I suspect more games we would play, teams might sit back. Right? From the time they start winning earlier, that's when teams start to focus on you and look at how they could get something out of you. And from the time they realize, okay, so this is a limitation a team have, let's work on that. Right? And West Ham may not be the best transitional team. By the way, anyway, I'll come back to that. Do you all have any concerns going forward? Or you all think that Michael Carrick will figure it out, especially when we're going up against low block teams?
Confidence? No. I mean, we we look at. I mean, the first looked good. I mean, they didn't win, and but they looked okay today. But looking at the teams we played before, a lot of good teams that you know believe in their game. We look at the Arsenal's, Liverpool's, the cities. They believe that they could play their game and they'll win. They're not going to change their game for us for the most part. You know, Fulham. I think Fulham is a team that might defend more, but they still have that attacking spirit about them. I think West Ham is the one team that will definitely, they're trying to get points. The way they down there trying to, they're gonna lock back up and and they're gonna try and defend. But you know, there's no until you win games and you beat teams that way. I don't think people were gonna teams are going to adapt and they're going to play low block. I think this is the first team that we've seen in the Carrick run that really did that. And even though his approach was good, and the team played well, like you said, it's going to be more of that, and like until you beat teams, playing this way, that's what they're going to show you, hope. We haven't seen enough of Carrick. It's still early. We haven't seen enough teams, enough coaches that have, good coaches that look at his team and his weaknesses, and thrown. That's the first, more or less the first stone really thrown at Carrick per se. Like I said before, I think it's other coaches believe in their system and they played their game. I think the other coaches below us are going to look at our team and be like, okay, how can I test this team? How can I frustrate them? How can I slow them down? Where are the weak points in this Manchester United team? I think more and more teams are going to be more inventive in finding those weak points. They're going to throw probably more people in midfield. More, I think they're going to attack Casemiro. I think they're going to go after Martinez's height. I mean, I think teams are going to really zero in on our weaknesses coming up. And Carrick seems like a common sense coach, but we have to be, we hope he'll be ready, but we have to see it because it's still early.
Nicole?
Yeah, a few things from me on that. In terms of managing the low block, I think a lot of teams below us going to play in a low block, right? Because I think we have too much weapons for any mediocre team. I mean, yes, we know the Premier League is, a lot of international players, but I think as much as we're in the fourth position, I think it's still a position that we deserve to be in, right? I think being honest, we should have been higher than that, right? But the reason why we in fourth and we maintaining this position for a while is because I think we have enough weapons attacking wise to score goals and to win games. So most teams gonna be defensive against us, right? To me, the key is that defensive organization when we defend in the counter attack. I think because that is where our main weakness has been, and today we are right head again because to me, Shaw should have dealt with that ball in the air. Why would Shaw make the ball bounce? So again, if I'm a coach and I'm analyzing this team, right? Shaw is a player I could single out, right? Put the ball on Shaw and attack him, right? When you have a clearance, put the ball on Shaw. You have 2 men running to Shaw, right? So that is what we have to figure out. We have to figure out how to manage these situations a little better. I think we have improved dramatically on that Carrick, but I think we need to manage these situations better because we cannot be dominating games and one play with a high ball beat a whole team and a team score. Right? To me, that's heartbreaking. Because the team was really, really trying to break. I mean, as Reem would have said, we were patient, we were moving the ball around, we were trying. And then after all of that, one ball over the top. Right? And our team score. So to me, that's what we had to manage. We had to kind of, yes, we know it could happen. We know at some point it would happen, but it shouldn't happen. And if it happens, it should be a one-off. Right? So I think that is what we have to manage. We have to get it out of the game. And as you rightly say, Reem, as long as we manage that, I think we have enough firepower on the bench, on the field to win games. So I think a low block, I think we would manage that. But we just have to manage the transition game. And if we manage the transition game, I think we will be okay.
Yeah, and just on that, when you consider the goals that we conceded since Carrick here, nothing against City. Against Arsenal, it was a set piece, a kind of scramble up goal. And then the other one that Arsenal scores was a deflection. Right? Then after who we play Fulham.
We play Fulham, yeah.
A penalty and a worldie, right? Way Lamens was holding that ball from Kevin. And then Spurs score?
No, Spurs didn't score. Yeah.
Right? And then today, the goal was that Luke Shaw not managing that situation properly.
Yeah.
Right? And even after he let the ball bounce, he should have known, and this is the problem, as an experienced player. I'm not saying that they can make a mistake, but 2 mistakes in quick succession.
Yeah.
You miss the bounce, you misjudge the ball, you choose not to go for it. Then you didn't even think that, hey, I probably don't have cover. Let me don't throw myself and let me don't sell myself in so easily. And then now you have players having to run back to try to pick up this space, and then even though they have some other players who I think could take responsibility for letting Souček run through there. But that particular passenger play with Shaw, that was 2 mistakes in quick succession that make that costly.
And one thing, right? And again, we just go back to Euro. Watch how Euro managed that situation we will listen today. With intelligence. Right? He didn't dive in. I saw Euro watch his back and see how that player coming. So he didn't fully commit.
Yeah, he waited.
And then he waited until the situation was more or less managed, then to make a challenge. Right? So like how Shaw just throw, you don't lose the ball and you just throw your frame on the ground. Right? So to me, situations like that, we have to have that level of intelligence to manage those situations better. Because somebody would have said in the comments, Euro for man of the match. And a lot of that was based on intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I just wonder what time did Maguire get injured and Euro come on?
What time, boy? Just what I can see.
I mean, it was about maybe the 70th or something around there, 72nd or 68th.
Maguire, the 68th. Yeah, you get it right there. Go 68th. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad Euro came on and did well. I mean, did very, very well. I always felt like we have cover, in that area. If it's one position we have cover is centre back. I know it was a question as to, the young fellas getting time, playing time. I don't want to see it happen this way, but it's good that Euro came on and actually looks well. Hopefully, Heaven get some time. Hopefully, we could be up in that game to where Heaven could come on and get some game time too. But I think Xerxes came on, and I saw he had a nice. I just, I look at Xerxes. I feel like his time here might come and go like nothing. I feel like as good as he was when he played for us last year, I don't think he'll get the run of games, or I don't think he is a player to really grab the chances that may pop up here and there like other players have. So he has been in some really good spots over the last few years to score some goals. And you always, most of the time, I mean, he scored some goals for us, but like most of the time, he, just glancing wide, glancing, here and there. So, I'm really interested to see, what's going to happen with Xerxes. I mean, is the window closed already?
Yeah.
Oh, we're in February anyway. Yeah, but like, surprised he's still here. But
I think if I could just interject there, Simeon, I think Xerxes, from what Carrick saying. Now, again, I don't disagree. We don't know what Xerxes. I don't see Xerxes being here next season, right? But from what you're seeing with Carrick, I think we would see more of him. Perhaps we may not see him getting enough time to really make the kind of impact that he would be able to make. Because remember, there are some players who just need minutes to show their quality.
And then we do our cup games.
Yeah, we do our cup games,
Outer
right?
cup games is outer Europe, so
Yeah,
it's even less.
it could be hard for him to get the kind of minutes for him to really show what he could do. Because especially the kind of when you bring on a player like Xerxes in with 5-10 minutes to go, defenses most times lock up. So it don't have much it could get from the player. I mean, today how Carrick used him, he was able to, create a good chance for himself. But at the same time, you ain't seen that you wanted to score. So for him, it's unfortunate, but it's what it is. They don't have much games to share around. So players really have to take the chance when they get. Now, as Nicole touched on it, and I'll see a way to follow through with it. Maguire, right? Maguire has been colossal for us, since Carrick been here. Maguire, so much so people talking about renewing him, right? But he came and he got a injury. We don't know how long he'll be out for. And for some reason, when we get injured at Man United, they tell you it's bad and he's built for kind of month and thing, right? Because Mount pick up a small knock and yes, he Mount.
Hey, who's that fella?
Delete, right? From what Fletcher tell me, it's supposed to be some minor delete out about a month and change, right?
Hey.
So we don't know what's going on with Maguire, right? We do not know what's going on with Maguire. So how much of a concern, is it for you with Maguire being out? I mean, Euro come on and Euro was excellent, right? But that kind of leadership, the experience, the box threat in attack and defense that Maguire offers,
I think it's huge. Nick was just talking about it being we are built to score. We have the scoring threat. We just have to and Karim said we just have to not concede. I mean, Maguire is a big part of that. His aerial, the prowess, his leadership in back there. I think that it's huge. I mean, it's I think yes, we have good players to cover, but if we want to finish top 4, top 5, I think we need the best players available. I think that's our main goal right now. I think Maguire is a huge loss. Not something that we ain't like I said, we have cover, but Maguire has been huge this year. I think it we have to see how we look, in the next game. I mean, gotta see, between Heaven and Euro, who's gonna start, probably Euro. Um, you mentioned, the lit. Um, but given the kind of fluky goals that we've been giving up, I think you need as much experience back there as possible. Um, that being said, if Euro come in and show something, I think he make a good uh audition for next year. I mean, I think we have a club, we have a choice coming up, next season, either to keep Maguire or let him go. If Euro wants playing time, he's gonna have to show that he can play, or at least have have the kind of production close to it as Harry Maguire. I mean, he's a younger player, faster player. Doesn't have the experience, but he has all the physical tools, to do the job. So it's on him, Heaven as well if he gets a chance. Um, a big loss, but we have the cover there. That's one thing this team, stocked up on. So we'll see.
Yeah. Before Nico come in on this, so I just get some comments real quick, right? So Alan on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He said out of 5 games we got 13 points. If we still under Amorim, it would have taken us 10 or 12 games to see the positives. I don't doubt that at all, Davian on the inside, good night, man. Thanks for joining. He's saying, Coach, man, should have started Sesko. He missed a trick day for me. All right. Phil on the inside, Phil Nolan, right? He's saying here Euro was a smart move since we were pushing for the equalizer. And if we lost the ball, Euro had the speed to recover. We saw that, So that was a good point. Great to see the positives in Carrick bringing on attacking options when we were chasing the game. That sounds like common sense, something other managers don't have. All right. Lucky Singh on the inside. Thanks for joining. He said Lenny Euro, Sandro Martinez.
Brilliant block.
Brilliant block. That's why he's not for sale. Right? He stopped who? Trendono? Who's that? I know he stopped Callum Wilson. All right. Phil saying here, window close, senior. It's carnival time now, my guy. Tribe and Bliss window still open.
Of course, hello.
Lucky saying here, stop West Ham winning the game. Yeah, definitely. Euro was massive when he came on. No doubt about that, right? Saying here, Ruben Amorim brought us unbeaten in 29 matches. Now check the stats.
Okay.
Right? Lenny, Sandro Martinez, gutty player. That's why, use him with Lenny Euro. Even all right. All right. So he's saying here, Maswari will be back, playing more. Right. Love all my defense. Right. So he say he like all the defenders. Right. Right. Okay. Good. So I think okay, so we're just trying to prove your points in the comment section. So cool, man. Yeah, Nico. So how much of a miss is Maguire?
To be honest, I rather lose Maguire than Martinez. Right? I think leadership wise and helping other players, I think Martinez is better at that. I think Martinez with a Euro or Martinez with a Heaven is a better match than either with Maguire. Because I still think Maguire has been so much into his game that he's unable to help others. So he's still trying to clear properly, pass the ball properly, trap the ball properly, clear the ball properly, that you're able to really mentor some of the other players, right? And I guess that could also be, and I could be wrong, but yeah, I mean, just going on the past where Maguire would have come from at this United team to where he is now, to me, in his head, he will still be stuck on proving I am a top class defender, right? Where Martinez he's so confident in his game that his game comes second nature. So he now could mentor and coach and be that leader to the younger players coming up. And that is what I have seen. So I have seen when these players pair with Martinez, you clearly see the difference in how they communicate and how they manage defensively in comparison when they play with Maguire. Because I think when Martinez and Maguire are playing, because they're so experienced and they understand the game, they may communicate less but understand the game more together. Where on the flip side, these two guys still trying to understand the game, right? And I think Martinez, as long as we have Martinez fit, I think we will be good defensively. Yes, Maguire have been excellent. He really have been a leader at the back. But I think it is more important for Martinez to stay fit, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. Phil saying here, sorry, I missed something. Maguire injured. Yeah, Maguire had to come off, and from what we're hearing, we don't know the extent, right? But he was holding his hamstring, and he came off, right? Jerome, the Insight, thanks for joining, man. He's saying Sesko finding form and settling slowly should have given him more than 50 minutes tonight, as the crosses to him and Zirkzee was working more than the 80 minutes of passing before, right? Phil saying here, you're on heaven. I have the utmost confidence into partner Martinez if Maguire injured, right? And Lucky Singh is saying Nuzair Mazwari is fine now. Yeah, Mazwari has been good for a couple games, since he came back from AFCON. He has been available and there. Nico, I know you were not on the pod when we spoke about Casemiro, and him leaving at the end of the season, and with what Casemiro offering, if there are any players that you might, because we linked with a few, Baleba, Wharton, Elliot Anderson, and of recent we linked with Tonali. Of those four, who would you, if you had the decision, who would you go after to fill that gap that Casemiro leaving?
Yeah. On paper, it's a no-brainer for me, Tonali, right? On paper. If it could work, I don't reason why it shouldn't work, right? I think he could be a good fit. But I think we had to get it right. That's our position. From what we're seeing, we have to get it right. And I don't know if one player could do it, but maybe we had to bring in two and see who work. Because as we see with Casemiro, that position is so vital to this team. And even if you get a player similar to Casemiro but have a better passing range, could even be better. Because to me that is just what Casemiro lacking, for a midfielder, that quality passing range.
I feel he could be a little quicker too. He could be a little quicker.
I guess mobility, he does a bit of mobility. But still, I think he does pick up real good positions. His reading of the game still very good. But I think if you get, a similar Ilka Casemiro with a higher or better passing range, I think that would suit us well. Passing from deep, we saw it with Carrick, we saw it with Scholes, even men like Darren Fletcher. As much as they were basic, they still had a decent passing range. I think that's what we're lacking. We're lacking our midfielder from deep with a quality passing range and who could read the game defensively as well. So I think if we get that, whoever that may be, if it's Tonali, if it's Anderson, I have a more question mark over Wharton. I think he and Mino will be a little too similar in that midfield. I could be wrong, right? But I think that pairing will be a little too similar. Baleba might pair better with Amino than a Wharton, right? But yeah, but I think Tonali so far would be the best shout for me.
Yeah, before the Tonali links came out, I was for Baleba, and I do think we need more than one because we saw today, Carrick didn't have much to lean on, so he had to. It's like Mino and Casemiro just had to play.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the bench, who you can see is Ugarte. And is Ugarte the type of player to really add to trying to break down a low block? No. You understand? So Ugarte had to watch the rest of the game, and he just had to depend on Casemiro and Mino to last, So I really think if Casemiro, as he leaving, we need to get more than one player, right? And I ain't lying to tell you, I like the Tonali profile. I think he press resistant. He could receive the ball. He could carry. He also has a good passing range.
He could shoot.
Yeah, he could shoot. I like him. For me, it all comes down to how these fellas complement Mino, because I firmly believe while we may not be building the team around Kobbie Mainoo is part of the future. So you had to complement them fellas. I don't know how long Bruno Fernandes will be here again, but you had to, whoever we bring in had to complement Bruno and Kobbie. So I think that really important. Kobbie has also shown sometimes that he could get injured and be out for a bit, and that's why I think we need to get a next player. So ideally for me, the two I wanted before was Wharton and Baleba, but because Tonali is now available, I still think Wharton have plenty to offer, Nico, even though he might be similar to Kobbie. Perhaps he may not be the one to play together with Kobbie, if we start in a game, but he could be somebody who could rotate with Kobbie, because Kobbie gonna need some rest too, So, Simeon?
I wasn't thinking about Tonali till Kareem mentioned Tonali. And the more I think about it, I think his experience, temperament, all those skills make sense. He seems pretty calm in possession, tough enough in the middle of the field. I think he ticks most of the boxes. I think I just can't see him. I can't see Newcastle really selling him for a good price. That's my only thing, especially after we take the striker. But that's my only. Well, that and the little bit of drama he had, a couple of years earlier. So that's my thing with Tonali. Baleba, I think if the price is right, get Baleba. I know it's been a tough year for him, we say, but I think the talent is clearly there. Hopefully we do our research, find why his levels dropped this year. If it's just he was trying to get out or what, trying to lower the price, I don't know what it is, but if we think if Baleba is available, to try and get him for a decent price, not what they trying to hook us on. But yeah, I agree. We definitely need two. I keep saying this. We needed two last year. The year before, we needed two midfielders. We get we be getting zero. So finally, next summer is finally the year we supposed to get to. Let's see what happens. When's Mount's contract up? Does he have a year left after this year?
I don't know, you know. Maybe the comment section could help. I think Mount have about a year or two again still, boy. So
Yeah, I think.
we had to sell he if he had to leave. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. He gets number 7 and 250K.
Oh yeah,
a week.
yeah, he is number 7. Yeah.
We going.
I forget clean about Mount. I forget this man. I forget he play. You know that he. Anyway, you know we say 2 midfielders. I mean, you know the way I see it looking. I mean, we you know you gotta look. Do we have any young players coming in that might feature in the midfield right now? I don't think. I mean, I don't know if anybody coming back from loan or anything that we think is going to be good. If not, we need about 2 or 3 midfielders because I think Mount has to go. You know, we ain't sure about what Bruno going to do. Bruno might probably be here, but it might be his last year next year. Xerxes will probably be gone, so that I think we need, you know, and then Ugarte, hopefully we gone. You know, we said 2 midfielders. You might need, you know, 2.5. You know, might need. I mean, you need like 2 more defensive maestros and 1 more attacking. You know, I think we need more variety in that midfield. I think Kobe needs to be able to play more higher up sometimes. I think he has that ability to play higher up. And it's you know, like Nicole said, you know, the decision we make this summer could be, you know, one of the biggest we make in a long time. You know, setting up, you know, the rebuild of this team, you know, at the center of the park. You know, we have good center backs. We have these strikers up front. How we rebuild this core, this Spanish team could make a big difference going forward. So I hope to get it right and finally do the homework. You know.
Yeah. Before we wrap it up, we'll just get some comments, guys, and then we'll close it off, right? So Lucky saying here, Zuxi, Benjamin Sesko, we could have saw idea one that because close caps. All right. Phil saying here we need to bring in two players. One needs to rotate, Tonali or Baleba or Anderson, and one Anderson will all the man starts. Also, he say we need 2 players. One to rotate. He said Tonali, Baleba, Anderson all the man starts. But we're talking about Manchester United here. It's a team game, so Carlos Baleba still wants us complete first summer transfer, right? Jeremy saying here we will lose goals and experience when Casemiro goes, but might gain more control with mobility. Yeah. First in here, Ugarte is a side man, and he is also gone. Hence why we need the need for 2. Also, Luke Shaw leaving, so we need another left back again. Luke Shaw leaving, will you hear that? Luke Shaw signed a lifetime contract. Right? Pleased Carlos Baleba's tempo slowly coming back, all right? And he said he wants him next summer. John saying this could be like when we had to replace Keane and end up with Carrick, hopefully at least, right? Different player, but same positive impact. May not have been trying, but his long range passing still limited. Baleba and the Snow Tonali is probably who will complement Meno best. Watson's too similar, I agree. I think Watson's a good player and we need squad depth earlier. We don't want the levels to drop too much when a player come off the pitch. You understand? You're talking about when Casemiro or Meno come off as Ugarte, that drop too big. You understand? So even if we get Tonali and Watson, I taking that. Right? Carlos Baleba first sell Højlund, then get Sancho Tonali. Right? Højlund just as good as gone now. Right? 2 midfielders is a must. Right? Phil saying here, then talking about bringing back Scott. Bon Scott McSauce. The only Scott I want is Alex Scott. All right. Sandro Tonali and Carlos Baleba is who you want. All right. Jerome said here, by the way, Tonali stop gambling. Well, he asked him because I was Simeon concerned as well, right? And yeah, I can't see the Geordie selling to a PL team, right? They would rather sell to Juve, just like how they sell Isaac to Liverpool. Money talks, bro. Right?
Yeah, we got money.
Right. Lucky Singh saying that Carlos Baleba waiting to go to Man United. Right. Onana and 40 million for Baleba make it happen. Right. Mount and 50 million for Elliot Anderson. Right. Mount contract. And then 2028. Listen, I had that sentence, but plus an option for 2029. All your wins. Oh my God. All right. Lucky saying here, Mason Mount not for sale, squad depth. How good are squad depth working right now, bro?
Hey, so one of the messages say Onana to Brighton, right? So we take a Baleba. What's that? Onana go Brighton. He turns into prime Casillas when we play them.
You feel
You
so?
see like how Basaka, hey, you see like how Basaka to Superman today? I tell you, Onana going to Casillas way.
Listen,
I'm gonna get mad at the match when he play against
I have no confidence in Onana, whether he's we player or he played against we. You see
Boy,
what we're going
telling
to
you,
Turkey with
boy.
that man? You see what we're going to Turkey with that man
That's
right now?
nothing. That's nothing. When playing against us, it'll be at different levels and fellas will show like.
No. I confident playing against Onana. He could go and play with who? I confident. You understand? Anyway, guys, so we want to look to wrap it. Right. Again, not the result we would have wanted, but I think in the context of everything, scoring in the 90th plus 6 minutes to, salvage a point, it's all about after all, taking that, of course. Carrick run, unbeaten run continues. We would have loved it to be a win streak, right? But the unbeaten run continues, and I think from what I was reading, with this 2 week that we don't have any game, I think they were looking for some games, whatever. But from what I read, Carrick keeping the team in Carrington, so them fellas gonna be training and working hard. Hopefully by the time we come back for Everton, we might get the news that Maguire injury not that bad and not able to feature. Dylan might be back. Monk might be back. And we have a fully fit squad going into the rest of the games. Because we really want to finish in European places, Champions League places that is. So we really need all the players there ready to contribute. I don't think since Carrick is here, we could point at any one player and say he has been poor. I think all the players have really, really performed.
Dalo surprising, boy.
Yeah, I find Dalo looking good.
Dalo levels shoot up.
Yeah, Dalo looking good.
I see the comfort zone on the Portuguese manager saying, "But I could do what I want, and he could still pick me." Yeah, that's why. But now we realize, dog, if I ain't playing good, I'll get dropped.
Mazraidi.
Yeah, I'll get dropped.
Nah, Dalo going World Cup.
Yeah. Now he loves improve.
Dalo on shore.
Phil saying here, a top left back to look at is Alejandro Balde at Barca. All right. Jerome saying here, 2 week break now. Yeah, no football. Other teams gonna be playing in FA Cup and thing. Keep Mount, go sell Rasmus and buy Carlos Baleba and Sanagre from Nottingham Forest. All right. In the next 2 weeks, the pod's still running. We also on a 2 week break asking for Chef and Iron Lion. We go see how it goes, right? Last comment goes to Jerome. Dalo wasn't great today, though. He wasn't great, but he wasn't poor. That's what I'm saying. No player. I don't think any players were really poor since Carrick took over. Some real stinkers we used to have before. You know, I don't think anybody been having a stinker. I think Luke Shaw had a little mistake, but before that, he's been solid. You know, Dalot has been good. You know, Cunha has been good, even though he was underwhelming today. Bruno Fernandes has been good, even though today we have wanted some more. So I think that's a positive. And even the guys who came off the bench has also added, you know, in a positive way rather than the levels dropping. Well, Ugarte, but whoever, you know, for the most part. So, guys, I think that brings us to the end of the pod. Right, I don't know if any closing thoughts? If not, we could wrap it. No?
Yeah, man.
All right. So, Nico and Simeon, guys, those in the comments with all the support, the likes, the shares, we do appreciate it. And I do also appreciate the fact that we're viewing a little more on the YouTube side, because I really want us to view more from YouTube, because FB playing up, right? So the more we could view and like and share from YouTube, that'll be better, right? Because at some point we want to, you know, fully migrate to YouTube. So, guys, thanks again. And as we always say, see you all on the next one. Have a good night.
Good night.